Hello, third grade, and welcome to lesson 9-3. In this lesson, we're going to focus on how to add 3 or more numbers at a time.
How can you add more than 2 numbers? Different kinds of birds are for sale at a pet store. How many birds are for sale? Find 137 plus 155 plus 18. Since 18 is a 2-digit number, round to the nearest 10 to estimate. 140 plus 160 plus 20 equals 320. A bar diagram can show 3 add-ins. The bar diagram shows the number of canaries, plus the number of parakeets, plus the number of parrots. You can use partial sums to find the total number of birds. In all, 310 birds are for sale.
So here you can see that they added by place value. So they added the hundreds first and put 200. Then they added the tens. So 3 plus 5 is 8 plus 1 more is 9. 9 groups of 10 is 90. And then 7 plus 5 plus 8 is equal to 20. So now that they found those partial sums, they added together those partial sums. So 200 plus 90 is 290. 290 plus 20 will give you 310. That's how they got to their answer in this section.
You can also use column addition. Regroup the ones. Regroup the tens. How many birds are for sale?
Select your answer.
In all, 310 birds are for sale. The answer is reasonable because 310 is close to the estimate of 320.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our notes and our guided practice for this section. So how can we add more than 2 numbers at a time? So 3 or more numbers. You can make a bar diagram to show all of your numbers. You can use partial sums by adding each of the place values and then adding those partial sums together. Or you can use any of your addition properties like the associative property to pick numbers to add first and then add the other numbers. So I gave you an example here, 354 plus 85 plus 72. So the first thing I did here was I drew a bar diagram to show my addition sentence. So all of my add-ins are here in my bar diagram, which is going to equal my mystery number that's going to be on top. Now, one thing I could have done was I could have added each one of the place values individually. So 354 is 300 plus 50 plus 4. So I wrote basically all of my numbers in what we call expanded form. So each one in their own place values. 85 was 80 plus 5, and 72 was 70 plus 2. Now I added all of my hundreds, and since this is the only one that had hundreds in it, I had 300. And then I added my tens, which is 50 plus 80 plus 70, like you can see here. That equaled 200. And then I added my ones, 4 plus 5 plus 2, which gave me 11. And you can see that here. Now, if I wanted to stack them and do my partial sums here, I put my ones first, 11 ones, 200 tens, and then 300 in my hundreds. When I added those all together, I got 511. So 300 plus 200 was 500. 500 plus 11 was 511. Now, another thing I could have done is I could have used my associative property and put parentheses around these two, and then added these first and then added this after. So 85 plus 72, I stacked to add, was 157. Now that I had my sum of this, I can do 157 plus my remaining add-in, the 354, which gave me 511. So 354 plus 85 plus 72 was equal to 511. So I used all of the strategies. I made the bar diagram. I broke it up into its individual place value. I used partial sums. I used the associative property. You have a lot of resources that you can pull on whenever you're solving questions like this, because we've been practicing a lot of different strategies since we started with math to help you find the way that works best for you. So let's take a look at another example. Over here, I said, find the sum of 398 plus 219 plus 23 plus 251. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 add-ins. Now, I drew a bar diagram. So I put all of my pieces in my bar diagram. Obviously, you'll see some pieces are larger and some pieces are smaller, depending on how much is in them. So next, I decided that I'm going to use my partial sums by adding 2 numbers at a time, and then adding those partial sums together. So I'm going to add the 398 and 219 together. Then I'm going to add the 23 and 251 together. Then I'm going to add the answer that I got here, plus the answer that I got here to find the answer for the whole amount. So 398 plus 219 gave me 617. So that was these 2 parts. For these 2 parts, 251 and 23, that gave me a partial sum of 274. So these 2 are my partial sums. Then I took both of these partial sums and I stacked and I added them to find my total, which was 891. So 398 plus 219 plus 23 plus 251 gave me a sum of 891. So you have a lot of different strategies, remember, that you can use. You can also just stack and add. If you want to stack and add, remember to regroup whenever you need to. And remember to stack in place value order. So all of your ones have to be on top of your ones. All of your tens need to be on top of your tens. All of your hundreds need to be on top of your hundreds. So 398, 219, 23, since there's nothing in the hundreds place, I don't put anything there. 251, 8 plus 9 plus 3 plus 1. So if I do the 1 and the 9, that's 10. 10 plus 8 is 18. Then 19, 20, 21. So I put my 1 here and I carry my 2. 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 2 more is 12. Plus another 2 is 14. Plus 5 is 19. So I put my 9 here and I carry my 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus another 2 is 8. And that's how I got to 891. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our guided practice. It says, if you add the numbers 137 plus 155 plus 18 in a different order, will the sum stay the same? Now we know right away that the answer is yes, because the commutative property of addition tells us that we can add in any order and our sum will always stay the same. Since we're not changing the numbers, we're not throwing in new numbers, we're not taking anything out, we're just counting them in a different order, our total is going to stay the same. Now for number 2, it says, why is the 20 crossed out of the ones place in the addition problem? So if there's 20 in the ones place, that means that 20 needed to be regrouped into 2 groups of 10. Now, since there's no extra ones on a 20, the ones place will have a 0 in it. And then that 2 will go over to the tens place. For numbers 3 and 4, they told us to estimate and then to find our actual answer. So I had 123 plus 168 plus 36. Now over here, I rounded to the nearest 10. So I told you over here, 123 rounded down to 120, 168 rounded up to 170, and 36 rounded up to 40. So my estimate was 330. Now, when I went to do my regular addition, 3 plus 8 plus 6 gave me 17. So I put my 7 and I carried my 1. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus another 6 is 12. So I put my 2 and I carried my 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So 327 was my actual answer. That's very close to my estimate of 330. So I know my answer is correct. For number 4, I rounded to the nearest 10 as well. So 247 became 250, 362 became 360, and 149 became 150. When I added those together, I got an estimate of 760. So my actual answer needs to be close to 760. So then I went over and I did my addition. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. So I put my 8 and I carried my 1. 6 and 4 is 10. Plus 4 is 14. Plus another 1 is 15. So I put my 5 and I carried my 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus another 3 is 6. Plus another 1 is 7. So my answer here was 758, which you can see is very close to 760. So I know my answer is correct. So remember, you have a lot of different strategies that you can pull on to help you to solve. If they ask you to draw, you can always draw a bar diagram. You can always show how you are decomposing or breaking apart your number into place values by writing it in expanded form. You can always use partial sums to help you find your whole answer. That's it for this lesson. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.